Welcome again to another Curator's Chat. I'm Jason French, Curator of Collections, the Behringer-Crawford Museum. Today we are actually at one of my favorite locations in all of northern Kentucky. It is a very historically significant location, and it's also really pretty. This is the mouth of the Licking River coming into the Ohio, and behind us, or behind me, is Cincinnati. So this location is significant. You know, in September of 1788, the men who would found Cincinnati would come to this location and cross over and meet with, John Cleave Sims. So Kentuckians like Matthias Denman and Colonel Robert Patterson, John Filson, who is the author that made Daniel Boone famous. And actually, he didn't live past September of 1788 because in that trip, he died somewhere in the land across the river here in Cincinnati, and he was killed in some fashion. We're not real sure how. The stories don't always add up. But this location was so significant. It was a place that not only did people meet, but it was worthy of defense. So once Cincinnati gets started by 1790, on the other side of this arena here, they were building Fort Washington. And Fort Washington was a United States Army post. It was a military post to defend the frontier. And it was enclosed about 40,000 square feet, a whitewashed fort. It would have been able to be seen kind of up on its ridge. It was up at 3rd and Broadway. And you could see it coming down the river, and it was an important spot during the late 18th century. But by the beginning of the 19th century, Cincinnati was growing, and the military, there was the talk of moving the military barracks somewhere else. So they came across the river. By about 1806, they were building Newport Barracks right here at the point. And the barracks was a significant military base through the War of 1812. All the Kentucky militia that would be coming and fighting against the British and Native Americans in Ohio, they mustered, they met here at the barracks, and they would cross the river and they would go further up. Some of them would fight in Canada. Some of them, certain amounts of these Kentucky frontier militia would end up being part of Perry's fleet and working in a naval fashion on the Great Lakes, fighting in the Battle of Lake Erie. So the barracks here is just a really amazing part of our Kentucky history. And it's all kind of gone now, and you can't see much of it, but it was a significant location for the U.S. Army to house troops for many, many, many years. For well over 100 years, we had a presence here, and it was significant in the Civil War. So, when we think about the defense of Cincinnati and the Confederate coming close to northern Kentucky and almost invading, we almost had major battles right here in northern Kentucky to defend the people in Cincinnati and to defend ourselves as Kentuckians as the Confederate Army was moving in. So all of that was kind of being coordinated from this location here at the point. And troops would be housed here and moved out to the artillery batteries that we've talked about. And it's a really amazing place. And it's also a beautiful park now. And as so many things are always changing here in our community, in our city, you never know. It'll have a new significance and new history that we can talk about in the future too. I love this spot. There's so much to learn from our history right here, and I wanted to share that with you. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you like our videos, feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll see you at another exciting location and learn a little bit more about Northern Kentucky history.